Play the album Prequel by Ghost.
Okay, here's the album, the I Can't Feel My Face Prequel by Lil Wayne.
No. Play the latest album by Ghost.
Got it. Here's the newest album by various artists. Ghost of the Shell.
That's not what I asked for either. I f***ing hate Apple. Siri is so damn useless.
There's no need for that.
Well, we're listening to Ghost in the Shell, apparently. The important shit. Beverage. Put the helmet away. There we go. Alright, let's make a battery box. Okay, so here's what we got. I've got this platter set up. I don't like it. I want to hide something down there. So we're going to try. This is what I made last time. It was an abject failure. We're going to try again.
So, step one, take good measurements. I failed to do that the first time, and that's really why it didn't fit. So, instead of using a ruler or a piece of string or a piece of cardboard, I just resorted to a set of those electronic calipers like the ones you used back in physics class. So it's lucky that we had a pair of those. Now, I've got to make sure that the piece that I'm making will actually fit onto the metal that I have, including the edges that I'm going to fold up to make the sides of the box. So I used not really a T-square, but just a right angle piece of metal with some markings on it for measurement, and this nice handy ruler over there. Make sure you use a small Sharpie, because the thick ones are a little too fat, and then you won't know exactly where you want to bend the metal. I did that the first time to my own peril. And here I am using something called a brake. It's just a fancy name for a metal bender. So what I keep doing and going back for is to measure the bends onto the bike to make sure that everything fits and make sure I'm bending it exactly the right place. It's a lot easier to undo a bend in progress than it is to flatten out a complete 90-degree bend that you have and messed up on completely, which is what I did last time.
Alright, so I made the battery tray, and here it is. So all I had to do was measure twice, cut once. That was the problem. The first time, I didn't measure it properly. So I did a lot more careful measurements and bending this time, and it came out significantly better. A couple little things I need to fix, but nothing major. I'm gonna weld up the sides of it after grinding it and cleaning it, and then we're gonna have a nice battery box and I'll install it. Stay tuned, we'll keep working on this.
So here I am just grinding down the metal, making sure all the edges are smooth and everything lines up. And then it's a matter of basically fitting all the old parts, including the M unit, battery, and all of the electronics like the starter solenoid and the ignition module to make sure it all fits in there. So here's what I'm doing right now. It may not be evident, but I'm trying to find a place for the regulator rectifier. What that is the motorcycle equivalent of an alternator. It takes your engine's rotation, turns it back into electricity, and then feeds that to the battery and all the electrical components on the bike while it's running. So the problem with these little guys is they get super hot. That's why it has little cooling fins on it. You might have noticed this on your own bike. A lot of people, when they're building their first cafe racer, will stuff it inside the electronics box. That is a terrible idea, because what that's going to do is get really, really hot, fry all the wiring, melt components, maybe even cause your battery to start leaking or worse, catch fire. So what you want to do is hang this guy out in the open where it can get plenty of fresh air. So what I'm trying to do is mount it to the bottom of the battery box on a plate of metal that sits separate, attached only by a single rivet to the entire pan. And now I'm disassembling the entire surfboard setup that I've been running with for the past, year. And I'm trying to find out the wiring, and I'm trying to compress my bike. I promise I'm not humping it. I want to see how far the rear wheel travels before it actually hits the frame. And it looks like it's going to hit the mounts that I had welded on for the old tray.
We made some progress today. I kind of scrapped everything I did before, when I realized that I had a problem. Not that kind of problem, another kind of problem. So here's the problem I was talking about. This, when fully compressed, seems like it might hit the tire. That's not good. So I'm going to have to cut that there and use those brackets to fix something else on the seat, but we'll get to that later. The cool thing that I did was, down here, I created an electronics tray, and it fits nicely in there, and the best part about it is that it doesn't hit the suspension. So, because this is a weird bike, and it's the first year they started putting a single shock, they've got like an old mountain bike style linkage on there. So, basically, you've got link, shock, and that links out to the swing arm, and that moves up and that moves down. So that's as high as that'll go, and that won't go all the way up and hit that because that's where the factory stuff already is. So I built a nice little box that holds everything, and that's kind of what I've been videotaping the whole time. So now I've got to figure out how to fit all my crap in there, and that's going to be its own set of challenges. So that's kind of what's next. So there it is. It looks a lot worse than the last time I probably did a video, but to me it's better because we fixed some problems that I had in the design of it. Hopefully that will work out and we'll be able to make something out of it. Just a decent view. This will let me get the seat a little bit lower, and that'll just make the whole thing look a whole lot better. So that's it. Alright, thanks for watching.